across board, we were thinking that this provided an opportunity whereby the process or the processes involved can now adhere in a different realm, or in the realm which is more attuned to the civil courts.
Okay.
And with the guidance of the lawyers, or the opinions of the lawyers, there seems to be at this moment no clear warrant or warrant which is actually keeping Dr. Kizza Besigye in incarceration.
Okay.
So we had to stand together as political leaders to make it clear that, because it's something which often around election times there has been a lot of arrests, and I think Kizza Besigye is the one who epitomizes it most. Around elections, he has been arrested in and out. So others, those of us who are also in the political sphere, it could be any of us tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's important that we realize that fact, and we work towards a Uganda whereby we can practice our politics without fear of incarceration, and let it be a battle of ideas of how best we can take Uganda forward.
Well, Honorable Jimmy Akena, how do you respond to allegations of human rights abuses in Uganda, particularly regarding freedom of speech, assembly, and press ahead of 2026 general elections?
Now, the issue of assembly and freedom of speech, it has been a long-standing battle where first we had the gazetting, then we had the Public Order Management Act, then we had the courts pronounce themselves on sections of Public Order Management Act. So it is still a space which we need to claim on behalf of the citizens of Uganda, whereby we can have the discourse and discuss how we feel Uganda should be governed and what we hope for in the future.
Okay.
So in light of those, we do have a deficit, but it is really up to us to make sure that we close all those gaps and we're able to practice the democracy which we all aspire to, or at least some of us truly aspire to.
Okay. UPC's stance on democracy. As the president of UPC, how does your party plan to promote democracy and promote human rights in Uganda, especially considering the country's history of authoritarian rule?
Now, you see on that one, I really want to put the UPC record straight. And this is a clash I had once with Professor Rugumayo, where he wanted to attribute the past that UPC was a dictatorial government. And then my one question to him was, how was it possible to hold a multi-party election in 1980 basing on the 1967 constitution, which is what was enacted by UPC, and UPC was accused of enacting that constitution. The fact that we're able to hold a multi-party election under that constitution is a clear testament that UPC did not outlaw political parties when it had the opportunity to write a constitution. Unlike when we went to the 95 constitution, we had Article 269, which prevented us even from operating branches. We went under that movement system up to 2005. And even when it has been opened up, the space, the actual space for practicing politics is what we're fighting about up to now. So I will not take the record that UPC was part of that dictatorial past which you're talking about, but it's something which we are correcting now, and it is something which had been initially entrenched in the 95 constitution but has since been removed, but we still have vestiges of that level of control and repression, which we still have to address. And those are things which are ongoing, because a democracy is, you can say, is never completely finished. You have to keep on improving it, bit by bit.
Okay. Well, that's why, Honorable, I picked interest to ask how you plan. Now, for example, I get to understand that you're eyeing for presidency or president seat come 2026. Now, if you win the election and you're the president, or if even when you don't win, how do you plan to promote democracy? Because you said this is a continuous process.
It's a continuous process. Okay, to put it simply, I would put it towards a live and let live philosophy.
Okay.
I'm hearing some people, at least I've seen them on Twitter, talking about kill or be killed, or kill those who are supposed to, so threatening to kill. But for me, I'm in a live and let live environment. So I realize that we are never going to share same opinions at all times. So if somebody has a different opinion to mine, you're free to exercise that opinion. It is not my responsibility to ensure that everybody conforms to my way of thinking. So that is why we are able to express ourselves through different political parties, different political processes, and we have different beliefs or ideologies. So as Ugandans, we should be free to enjoy the benefit of being Ugandan. And I think Uganda is possibly the most blessed place I have lived. Having been to various places, God has truly blessed us with the best climate, the best foods, and the best of everything.
There is no doubt.
It's now up to us to make sure that all these blessings which God has given us work for the benefit of the citizens of Uganda.
Okay.
So that the children of Uganda should enjoy those blessings freely, irrespective of politics or political beliefs.
Honorable Jimmy Mike Akena.
Thank you.
Well, Honorable Jimmy Akena, as we proceed with this exclusive interview, picking interest in understanding what has been a debate over time, and this is collaboration with NRM that has been actually rumored by many people. You've been open about collaborating with the ruling party. How do you reconcile this with your party's commitment to democracy and human rights, considering NRM's record on these issues?
No, it is, I think, a bit of realism. Between elections, you're going to have a particular party in charge, and they're going to be running their manifesto and running their programs. Right now, we're going to an election. So in an election, we have always fielded our own candidates. We have run under our own banner and with our own programs and policies.
Okay.
Which is going to be the same in 2026.
Okay.
The outcome thereafter will be determined by the voters of Uganda, and we will abide by the decision of Ugandans until the next round of election in 2031. So in each election, we're going in as UPC with our program, with our agenda. After the election, I have no difficulty sitting down with whoever is victorious, but I hope that will be UPC. But whatever the case, even if we have to talk across political lines, in that if there's no clear outcome, I'm always available for that in the interest of Uganda.
Okay.
But I remain always committed to the vision and the beliefs of UPC, and that one will never change.
Okay. Honorable Jimmy Akena, considering UPC as a political party and your recent victories that you've registered in by-elections, it is evident that UPC has remained an influential political party in Uganda. And so many people have questions about mobilization. What is your plan to mobilize the party and also rejuvenate the support that UPC has enjoyed over decades?
We are in a mobilization period, and we're going to continue the mobilization. We're also doing registration of members. This is going to lead to the revamping of the party structures, and also leading to the identification of party candidates later in the year. And that is part of the preparation for the 2026 election. So I will be coming region to region as part of the mobilization. And yes, we are definitely not keeping quiet on that or not sleeping on that. We are going to be active, and we intend to mobilize everywhere. So expect me sooner rather than later.
Okay. Wow, so that's a very good message to the UPC diehards. Honorable Jimmy Akena is saying, expect him soon. He's coming to your region or to your district, and you'll get back to the Congress of the People that was sung back in days. Honorable Jimmy Akena, personal experience with human rights. As someone who spent time in exile and experienced human rights violation firsthand, How do you think your personal history informs your approach to promoting human rights and democracy in Uganda?
It has taught me a lot, and I do not wish for anyone to have to live in exile. And it's also shown me that how God has actually blessed us, and it's really going to be up to us to exercise the blessing which we've been given and make it work for the children of Uganda to have a decent future. So yes, we are shaped by what we go through, and the important thing in life is whenever you go through a challenge, there are lessons to be learned. So make sure you learn your lesson, and then you see how best that you can apply that one. So in my particular case, I think the peaceful coexistence is important, even where you don't agree ideologically or you don't share the same hopes and aspirations, but we do share something all as Ugandans, and this is the only country we've been given, so let's make the most of it.
Okay. 89.4 NBS Radio, exclusive interview with Honorable Jimmy Akena, the UPC president. My name is Agres Mwesigwa, and we are proceeding. I can't let Honorable Jimmy Akena go, minus responding to the 2026 presidential ambitions. You have announced your intention to run for president in 2026. What specific policies and reforms would you implement to strengthen democracy and protect human rights in Uganda?
You see, I think you cannot narrow it down to democracy and human rights. Democracy and human rights do not live in a vacuum.
Sure.
It lives, all of it is affects the livelihoods of people. So the whole purpose of aspiring is to improve the quality of living of the citizens of Uganda. So if you say we're respecting human rights, but then you're having families unable to make ends meet, unable to provide for their children, give their children a decent future, you are not going to be enjoying the democracy of human rights in such an environment. So we need to deal with the holistic aspects. We need to be able to provide quality education which can empower the children to be able to excel anywhere. We need to be able to have medical services which work for the people, not you go and then you have to go out to look for medication and the like. The system must be able to work, must be able to take you to get you to the medical care on time, and you must be able to receive the care on time. And that, of course, means that those who are working there are going to be well motivated, well remunerated. So there's so much which goes into it, and it's a whole picture which is important that we work on it. So I'm not going to deal with democracy and human rights in isolation, but in the whole basis, because how do we talk about human rights when you're dealing with children who are stunted because they have not had a decent diet? So those are all issues which we need to address, more so in a country which is blessed as Uganda. Those are things which should not be there.
Okay. Honorable Jimmy Akena, it is important that at this time Ugandans get to hear from you, sharing UPC's vision for Uganda's future and how you plan to achieve it.
We are definitely going to be sharing that vision, and that's part of the campaign. And it's going to be going in a phased manner.
Okay.
Like I said, the first phase is going to be mobilization, but more and more we're going to be coming out clearly and giving exactly what we believe or how we believe Uganda will be best run.
Okay.
Yes.